Have you ever wondered what you really need to know about Missouri's fishing laws? Stick around to find out. We're going to be breaking it down in plain English so you can cast your lines worry-free in 2025. First off, a couple disclaimers. I am not a lawyer, so do not take this in any way, shape, or form as legal advice. Anglers are responsible for their own actions and knowing the rules, so make sure to check out the links in the description as well as down here below. Second disclaimer. Rules can vary greatly by water body, conservation area, or program, and regulations can change. Always check with the Missouri Department of Conservation's website or the latest fishing guide for the most accurate, up-to-date details. The first thing you should know about Missouri fishing laws is whether you do or do not need a license. You do not need a license if you are 15 years of age or younger, regardless of your residency. This is great for families as you can take advantage of some of the amazing fishing locations we have, such as Lake of the Ozarks, without having to worry about buying a permit for each kit. You also do not need a Missouri fishing license if you are over the age of 65 years old and a Missouri resident. You do not need a license if you are a landowner with 5 acres or more and fishes on their own land. Any honorably discharged veteran or active personnel with a service-related disability also does not need a license. A patient in the Warrior Transition Brigade, Warrior Transition Unit, or in a military medical center also does not need a Missouri fishing license. Please note, there are daily, annual, and lifetime memberships available. It is also important to know where to buy one. If you need a license, you can purchase one online at nbc.com, calling 800-392-4115 at any MDC office, or from the majority of vendors that sell hunting and fishing gear in Missouri. It is also important to note that if you are from one of our neighboring states, Missouri has reciprocal water body agreements with those states. Fishing privileges on boundary waters common to Missouri and an adjoining state are mutually agreed upon by the two states. However, it is still your responsibility to know which state you're fishing in and the regulations that apply in that state. The next point I want to talk about are size and bag limits. And what you really need to know here is regulations can vary greatly by body of water, season, species, or conservation area. Just about every public fishing location will have limits posted in an easy area for anglers to see. You can also check this link below if you're fishing in a more public area where limits may not be posted. Size and bag limits exist so we don't overharvest these populations. Releasing certain size fish helps ensure a healthy breeding stock for future generations. The next thing we believe you should be aware about are seasonal and special water body regulations. And the only important thing to note here is that certain species, such as paddlefish, have open and closed seasons and may require specific permits depending on the water body that you're fishing. Just about any public place will have a sign posted to let you know what those limits are or if any permits are required. However, you should also check out the link here just to be on the safe side. Another important thing to note here is some lakes or rivers may have unique rules, such as state parks, the urban fishing program, or the CAP program. The next thing to note are that there are certain permitted and non-permitted methods to catching fish. You may use permitted alternative methods in designated waters for a certain type of species. The next important thing to note here are the number of poles and hooks that you're allowed to use. If the water body that you're fishing is a part of one of the programs listed before, the limit is usually 3 poles unless noted elsewhere. If you are fishing on a wide open public water body, you can have more than 3 poles as long as any additional pole over 3 is labeled with your full name, address, or conservation number. It is also important to note that you are not allowed to use more than 33 hooks at one time. In this last section here, we're going to go over some common myths and confusions. Confusion number 1, you're not allowed to chum. This is somewhat true depending on the water body, such as a state park or a local park that's a part of the urban program, season, or species. Chumming is prohibited. However, on public navigable water bodies or where it is not explicitly stated, you can chum. Myth number 2, I do not need a license if I am only fishing for my daily meal. I couldn't find any information one way or another on this, so I'm going to label that as false. I have been hearing this since I began fishing as a kid, that if you are fishing for your daily meal, you do not need a fishing license. However, there's no information to corroborate that, so we are going to label that as false. One of the biggest confusions probably when it comes to fishing Missouri is that most anglers believe they can fish any accessible stream or body of water. This is only somewhat true. Missouri rivers and streams are classified into 3 categories: public navigable, public non-navigable, and private non-navigable. Public navigable streams are large rivers which commercial boats such as barges can navigate. Public non-navigable water bodies are middle-sized streams that are capable of floating smaller boats such as a canoe. A private non-navigable water body is a small stream that is not even capable of floating small boats such as a kayak or a canoe. On private non-navigable streams, adjacent landowner property extends to the center of the stream. Fishing, wading, and boating is illegal unless you have the explicit landowner's permission. On public non-navigable streams, public property lines are the same as they are on private non-navigable streams. The difference is that although you are on private property, you have the right to use public non-navigable streams for fishing, wading, boating, as long as you stay within the stream bed. It is important to note that the stream bed begins at the high water mark. In practical terms, this is the point where trees and other permanent vegetation grow. Floaters and anglers need landowner permissions to go beyond that point. On public navigable streams, property line extends to the end of the high water mark. The area inside the high water mark is public property. Additionally, if you are fishing a creek and that creek falls within private property, even if it is navigable, you still need the property owner's permission to fish or wade in that stream. If you are ever in doubt whether or not you are allowed to fish a stream, it is best to contact the prosecuting attorney of that area. Thank you for taking the time to get to know Missouri's fishing regulations, and I hope I made this easy for you. I'm not the biggest fan of a bunch of rules and regulations, but the MDC does keep it pretty straightforward and very easy to follow. Please like and subscribe for more fishing tips and thrilling fishing adventures. Comment below if there's a specific regulation or myth or location that you want featured. And just as a reminder, check out the links in the description for the Missouri Department of Conservation's website and specific regulations. Until next time, thanks for watching.